Hi guys, welcome to K-Pop Talk with Danny and Kenzie. I'm Danny.
I'm Kenzie.
And this episode is called Influences of K-Pop. Overall, we're going to be talking about how the K-pop genre specifically affects its listeners, how fans from around the world are affected, as well as how those in the industry's lives are changed forever.
So, we're just going to talk about how K-pop began in general for us and like how it's brought us to where we are now.
So okay, I want to start off because I think, did I start listening to K-pop before you? I think I started listening to K-pop before you. Okay, so my first time listening to K-pop, I was in the 7th grade, and I was in a quinceañera. Yeah, and we had to do a dance to a K-pop song called Just Right by GOT7. It's iconic, trust me, it is.
For me, I was in my early childhood class, and I was sitting next to Danny, and she was like, she showed me the same exact song, Just Right, by GOT7. And I was like, what is this? I was so confused, because, I had heard of K-pop from, my friends and stuff, and, just the general thing, K-pop is, the big thing now. And she showed me this music video, and I was like, what is this? And
I felt like you thought it was stupid. When I first showed it to you, you were like, what are you showing?
I was super weirded out, but, it was really interesting at the same time because I said I didn't like K-pop, even though I hadn't listened to it, but then I actually listened to it and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. So, I guess it's a knock it till you try it kind of thing.
It also depends on, what kind of group that you listen to, because, there's a whole bunch of different types of groups. Groups like GOT7, they're more a beat,
right.
I guess you could say electronic.
Yeah, EDM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's groups like
BTS.
They're all kind of electronic if you ask me. But BTS is a group, and then groups like NCT where they have a big variety of music.
17.
Yeah, and then girl groups too, like Twice, Blackpink. All of their song styles and everything is different. So I feel like depending on what you listen to first could change your outlook on everything.
Yeah. And I feel like K-pop isn't just one, it's not just pop like everyone thinks it is. It's like you said, a variety. It's EDM, it can be punk rock, it could be rap, it could be pop like it is in the name. Or it could even be a ballad, it could be sad music.
Yeah. To me, personally, K-pop is it's really hard to put into words how much it's changed me as a person. Because before K-pop, I was woohoo, yay, overall fun, bubbly, I guess. But, after listening to K-pop, I'm more unapologetic for my actions. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm more me. I'm more comfortable with myself, and I'm not gonna hide it from other people.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel it's changed a lot of people, not just me. I feel a lot of people that I follow on social media have also been influenced by it, and it's a big thing because it's not music that we're used to. We don't hear Korean music it's not just played on the radio station freely. Yeah. And so for us to actually stream it and stuff in the States is really cool because like I said, we don't hear it on the radio.
I honestly feel it's pulled me a little more out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to trying more foods, obviously because Korean food is something I'm interested in, I guess now.
Yeah.
And then, learning other languages, being able to actually understand this music is something that really does interest me as a person. I feel it's opened my brain up to all these other things. And people just see it as, oh, you're obsessed with those Asian guys. And I'm it's more than that. You know what I mean?
It's, the culture and tradition as well. A lot of, I said, people on social media, a lot of them travel to Korea. Yeah. To go explore how they work in Korea and how everything flows there, and to learn the language or to learn I follow a lot of dance accounts, K-pop dance accounts that do song like and dance covers because they enjoy K-pop so much, and that's just, it shows how like, I guess, universal K-pop is, and that's like the big reason why I have so much respect for it, is because there's so many different cultures and religions that like enjoy K-pop, and like you don't have to, there's no boundaries or limits to like someone that can enjoy it, if that makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. I really do feel the same way.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people through liking K-pop, so I guess I understand where you're coming from. Like, it is a universal thing, and like people from around the world like listen to it and actually really enjoy it just as much as we do. You know what I mean? I actually reached out to one of the friends I've made like through K-pop. Her name is Kelly Ann. She lives in Montreal, Canada. She asked to not have her voice in this podcast, so Kenzie's actually going to read the answers to the questions that we asked her. We really wanted to get someone who doesn't live in the country's opinion on it, just K-pop in general. So we have a few interview questions. So question 1. How many music phases would you say you've gone through?
So she said, I think I pretty much went through most of them, starting from 2000 when I was born. I really like a lot of types of music, from old 70s jams to this year's bops. What I'm not really a fan of are heavy metal or country music, just isn't my type. And she said that she doesn't think that she can count on her fingers how many music phases that she's actually gone through.
I thought that's funny because I actually really relate to that.
Yeah.
It's basically the same for me when it comes to music phases. And I don't think any of them has hit me as hard as K-pop has.
Yeah.
So question 2. Have any of those phases affected your behavior toward yourself or others? Can you list any specific examples?
So she said, for an example, I'm just going to take BTS Love Yourself era. So BTS is another K-pop group, and Love Yourself is one of their albums. So it says, the boys, through their lyrics and just them in general, have allowed me to take a good look at myself and say it's okay. They make me want to love myself and love those around me better, to accept people how they come. Music has definitely changed me, but it's hard to explain. It's very personal, and everyone has a different perception of it.
I completely agree. That specific album, we're actually going to insert a clip of a song right here. Question 3. Talking about K-pop, would you say that your interest in this genre of music is changing your behavior? All other music genres aside, of course.
So she said, well, I guess so. I'm still the same person I've always been, but it definitely has helped me to become more open-minded. I'd say I'm more lunatic and excited when I hear that specific genre of music than any other, except maybe for another French singer I really like.
So, has K-pop changed you in a more healthy way?
And she said, yes. So, those are really good questions, first of all.
Thanks.
And I agree with, like, everything that she said, basically.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer them, like, ourselves?
We should actually really go through them.
Okay.
One question that I asked her, but I really want to get your opinion on it, Kenzie, is what are some examples of how you've changed as a person because of music? That can be like K-pop or music in general. Would you say that these are permanent changes or something that is going to like fade over time?
For me, I guess music is just a way for me to cope. It always has, honestly, like, not just K-pop, but, like, ever since I was a kid. It's just helped me find who I am, I guess, if that makes sense. And because of the different music genres, they've all made me a different person. Like, not a different person, but made me become, like, a better version of myself, like, as I am today. And what was the other question?
Do you think it's going to be a permanent change or something
yes.
that will fade over time?
Honestly, it just depends on, like, the genre of music. for K-pop, I feel like it's like a permanent thing, I guess, because I just enjoy it so much, and I don't really see it leaving anytime soon. Like, there's always gonna be those music genres that I go back to. Like, I don't just listen to K-pop, I listen to, like, everything still, but K-pop is, like, a main thing that I'm focused on. But, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for me, K-pop, so not just K-pop, but every genre of music has changed how I act as a person. And I would say, like, every phase I have gone through have been permanent changes. It's kind of weird to imagine, but I went through that, like, rock phase, you know? And I feel like that made me a little prouder of who I am. Like, not necessarily, like, not afraid to show who I am, just more internal, like, I'm myself, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to feel that way. I feel like I don't see how that translates through the music. I guess it just made me feel a little more confident in myself. Yeah. And that really never went away. I've always had that mentality. I still listen to that type of music, so I feel like that may be why. But I feel like K-pop is more of I can show myself to others and not feel embarrassed, rather than just showing myself to myself.
Yeah.
I weirded it kind
just,
of like
it makes sense.
Wrong, but okay.
Yeah, it also shows like what you said, that like music affects everyone differently, and like it can be internal or external, and that just shows like how universal music is, and how everyone deals with it differently. Like some people, like my friend Leah in English class, she was talking about music and how it's like not really an important thing in her life. Like, she listens to music, but it's not like a big game changer for her. But like for me, it's like I need music to like survive, I guess, if that makes sense.
I can't live without music.
Yeah. But that just shows like the different spectrums of how music can affect someone. Yeah,
I feel K-pop doesn't just affect its listeners. Right. Another huge part of it is the people in these groups. So an actual like recent example would be a whole bunch of artists from groups have left due to like stress or relationship issues, considering they're not allowed to date other people, and it's just kind of, it's making their lives great yet horrible at the same time. So like Woojin from Stray Kids, he was actually my favorite before he left, but it's another thing is like all that matters to me is that he is better.
Right.
So I don't care if he leaves as long as he gets healthier, whether that be mentally or physically. But for him, it affected him in that negative way to have to leave.
Yeah. Like the music industry in K-pop is very, very, very biased.
Yes.
And like there's so many standards like that people don't see on the outside, or on the inside. Like there's just so many things hidden that like people actually like they don't see in the real world, like they just see all these boys and girls dancing and just like having fun on stage and singing and living their best lives, but they don't see what's actually going on in these companies. Because if you didn't know, like in K-pop they have a company that they're signed to, which is like just how it is in American music, like the labels.
They're really strict.
But like it's
in K-pop though.
Yeah.
It's almost like you give me your life.
Yeah.
When you sign these papers, you give me your life.
Yeah. It's very like very, very strict rules, like diet. There's dieting for some of the girls.
Like plastic surgeries.
And like not every idol gets them, but I mean, it's just kind of a general statement thing. You can't dye your hair this color, that color. You can't get tattooed. Like, there's just all these general statements. Like, you can't have piercings, tattoos.
Like, facial hair.
Yeah, it's very, very, very limited. And a lot of people don't see that. And it's not anyone's fault, but that's just how companies are in the K-pop world.
I feel like sometimes it makes me feel like I shouldn't listen to K-pop when I think about it too hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm supporting them almost, like in a negative way. But then again, like when they do talk about it, they seem genuinely happy, unless, you know, they talk about not being happy. But for the most part, it's so hard not to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. K-pop is a huge thing. It really is a huge thing. It's a huge thing for me, for Kenzie. It's a huge thing for Kellyanne. It's a huge thing for
a lot of people.
Lots and lots of people. A lot of people that go to our school, a lot of people that live in other countries, the people that are within these groups. It affects our families as well. Like, since we listen to K-pop, they have to hear that all day, and it's probably frustrating for them. But it's like a chain almost.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that shouldn't be ignored anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, since I kind of judged in the beginning too, like I was just like, like not my thing. Like now I like it. I feel like, yes, it's your opinion. You don't have to like it, but you should give it a shot if you do. Like decide.
Yeah.
Like if you're just bored one day, like just look up like K-pop music video.
Like, ooh,
just like
NCT U boss. Like,
yeah, like anything. Like just like look up a K-pop song and like
just look up K-pop.
you never know, because like your music change could just be like, oh, I enjoy K-pop now, and that's K-pop is very, very popular nowadays. It's very, very well known all across the states, all across different countries, and like even like these K-pop groups are doing tours throughout countries, like throughout the states, because so many people know about them and so many people are aware that like, yeah, these guys are popular. Like I'm gonna go see them in concert, and like for people to spend money on them and buy their albums, buy their, you know, their merch, buy their tickets, like it just shows how like dedicated these fans are because of this music.
So overall, that's like how just this genre in general has affected us and others. Like you were talking about how like they spend a whole bunch of money and it changes how they view themselves overall.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like no one should be afraid of it.
Yeah.
So that's been today's K-pop talk. I'm Danny.
I'm Kenzie.
See you next time.
Bye.
Solo